Welcome to Marath, Wheel of the Wild. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, I guess we can keep up. We have Temple of Abandon. I'd love to have a little bit more ramp in the hand. But we do have Recruiter of the Guard. We can get something like Primordial Hydra. Yeah, we'll go to keep on this one. We're on the plate. I mean, we're on the draw too, so we'll get an initial draw step. So hopefully that'll be kind of good between the Scry and the extra draw. And then actually our opponent already got the lane down, so I'll cover Commanders in just a second. But yes, welcome to Marath Hydras. Hope you're excited to get all those heads on the battlefield. Mainly Primordial Hydra. I love that card. Hope we can get that going. Let's go and get down the Temple of Abandon and get the Scry, get the Fever, the Scurry going. See what we can come up with. Primal Vigor. We're still going to put that on the bottom. We're going to go and pass the turn. We're playing Marath, a Wheel of Wild. Enters the battlefield with a number +1 counters on it, equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it. Remove X counters from it. Put X counters on target creature, deals X damage to target creature or player, then create an XX green elemental creature token. X cannot be 0 on all of those, or you'll get in trouble. I'm just going to get down the Mana Confluence, anything for 2. We have Hull Breach, but our opponent doesn't have anything out there. All right, we're just going to go and pass the turn. Playing against some partners action, we have Thrasios and Sidar. Thrasios, 4 mana, scry 1. Reveal the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it on the battlefield tapped. Otherwise, draw a card. Playing against Sidar, flanking. Whenever a creature without flanking blocks this creature, it gets -1 until end of turn. Opponent's going to go for a morph creature. Creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less. Let's see if our opponent wants to swing in with that Thrasios. All right. Creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2. Okay. There we go. I always want to make sure, like, I read it right, and then I want to make sure I don't mess something up reading it. Wonderful. Hit Cultivate. Let's go and go for that. That way we can get ahead on mana. And we'll go ahead and pay 1 life to go green and get down the Governing Township. And in fact, let's go and just split this down the middle. Let's go and actually, we have red from Temple of Abandon. Let's go and grab another forest. That way we're not kind of stuck in this weird state. Do we want white at this point right now? Would rather grab like another red source. We're going to have green, red. Yeah, we'll go and grab another white source. That's fine. Let's get the forest onto the battlefield. Plains into the hand. Then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. All right, there we go. So we're on line for Marath next turn if we want to go for that. Or we can go for Recruiter of the Guard and get down Primordial Hydra for like 2 or 3. And then hopefully maybe end up with a really good Primordial Hydra. See if our opponent has any sort of spot removal. I think I kind of like that. We'll give it a shot. And we'll see what this morph creature is. It always drives me nuts. I don't know what a morph creature is. Let's go and get the plains down. Actually, do we want to go for Ripjaw Raptor, actually? I think that'd be a good counterspell test. That's going to stop our opponent from swinging. Let's go for that. Let's go for Ripjaw Raptor. I like that. We're going to tap out for green and kind of be a little bit conservative with that Mana Confluence. So we are at 26, and if our opponent's going to have a lot of little rinky-dinky creatures on the battlefield, we want to make sure that we don't lose a bunch of incremental damage over time. So we'll see what they're going to tap out for. It's going to be 4 total mana. Thrasios for 1. Okay. Scry 1. And the good thing about Ripjaw Raptor is we can deal that damage with Marath with the Enrage ability. But for the main part, Ripjaw Raptor, you know, it kind of stops stuff from Thrasios and the morph creatures from swinging in. Because if we get that damage dealt, we're going to get a little bit extra card draw off that, which is always really nice. So it's always good to get down Ripjaw Raptor and kind of halt the brakes on our opponent, which is exactly what Ripjaw Raptor is doing right now. All right, see what we draw into Savage-Born Hydra. It does have double strike. Let's go ahead and go for Marath. Let's get Marath on the battlefield. That's going to give us enough mana to still kind of do some other stuff too. It's going to be green, white, and then red. Get that down. Yeah, I think I like holding back on this one. I want to do a little bit of setting up. So we'll just go ahead and hold back the Ripjaw Raptor. I'm not really sure what that morph creature is. The opponent has a ton of mana over there, so I don't really want to walk into surprise. It might be Willbender. All right, opponent's going to go for the Thrasios activation. I was trying to open it up on my second monitor. Okay, there we go. Pass the turn to our opponent. Sorry about that for popping that up real quick. Willbender, I want to double check that real quick. I want to make sure I'm talking about the correct card. Yeah, so Willbender, morph for 2. And then change the target of target spell ability with a single target. Okay, so it's not really a counter spell. I get that mixed up in the head. Opponent's going to go for another morph creature. This may be partner morphs. If it is, it's a lot of cool. I like that. And if we want to, we can actually just start pinging the Ripjaw Raptor. I think we can go for some extra card draw. Let's go and do that. Get that going. All right, so we're going to go ahead and remove X counters, deals damage to target creature or player. It's going to be 1 off the township. I'm going to deal 1. And see what and if it is something they're going to bounce it back to the hand, we can still go for it in response to that. Enters the battlefield, destroy target creature with power 4 or greater an opponent controls. I'm just going to go for another one off that. Let's go for a remove a counter, Deals 1 damage to target creature or player. We'll tap the Mana Confluence down. X is currently 1. So I have another damage dealt. We're going to draw another card. Unfortunately, we're going to lose the Ripjaw Raptor, but it's okay. So we got Hydras versus Morph creatures. What a time to be alive. Love it. Okay, see what drawing 2. Drawing 2 Farseek. Do we want to get one of the Hydras down on the battlefield? Has double strike. We can get that going. We get the Hydra down. Enters the battlefield with X counters on it. So if we dealt damage to it, remove that many counters from it, whatever it counters removed from it, put 2+1 counters at the beginning of the next end step. Let's do some. Yeah, let's do some setting up. Let's go for Farseek. You get that. Get one of those onto the battlefield. Let's go ahead and go for the. Let's grab another red source. Let's go ahead and grab the Sheltered Thicket. It's going to come into play tapped anyway. And then let's go ahead and get down the. We only have 3 mana to go for right now. We can go for Recruiter of the Guard. I like that. Let's go Recruiter of the Guard. I want to get Primordial Hydra. That's one of my favorite cards, actually. It was one of my very first cards that got me into Magic. Let's go for Recruiter of the Guard. We're going to grab that. And the good thing about Recruiter of the Guard is all these Hydras is 0/0s. So it just basically kind of turns your deck into whatever sort of tutor that you want to go for. Let's go for the Primordial Hydra. All right. Anything else? We have 8 cards in the hand. We're going to discard down to hand size. Opponent doesn't really have any sort of artifacts out right now, but I do like holding on to Hold Breach just in case something gets a little bit wonky. And we do get into this weird spot where we might be able to win with the Aria, getting that down on the battlefield. So what do we want to get rid of? Let's go and get rid of Ivy Lane. Yeah, I think we're okay with that. We kind of want to, yeah, let's get the Hydras going. All right, get rid of Ivy Lane, and we're going to go and pass the turn. So as far as next turn goes, we're going to have 6 total mana. Yeah, let's go for the Hydra. Let's get Hydra going. This was the, I opened this up in M12, and I just fell in love with Hydra. So basically, Primordial Hydra enters the battlefield with X counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of counters on it, and then it has trample as long as it has 10 or more counters on it. So basically, you get down for 2/2. The next turn, it turns into a 4/4. Next turn, it turns into 8/8. Next turn, 16/16. And so I can't tell you how many times in the casual room I get down a Primordial Hydra for like 1 or something and just slowly start chaining it. Because, you know, we're in the casual room. Nobody's running any sort of removal like they should be. And so you get down the Hydra, next you know, it's 16/16, 32/32, and they're just like, okay, scoop, whatever. All right, opponent's going to swing in for Sword of the Animus. Yeah, there's a lot of salty scoops when you're playing in the casual room sometimes, as people are just getting into Magic. I do want to chump block on one of these with the Recruiter of the Guard on the Hidden Dragon Slayer. Pretty much serves its purpose already. Yeah, that's fine. We'll be saving at least 4 damage. So put it at only taking 3. They're going to get a little bit of life off that, go to 34, but I'm okay holding at 21. And then we'll still have 1 more activation to go off Marath to kind of get that going. Draw to Molten Hydra. Yeah, let's kind of spread the wealth out. That's going to be 6 total mana. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. We can get the Hydra down. Let's do this. Let's go for Primordial Hydra. Because we can get down to Forgotten Ancient too. Let's do this. Let's go Primordial Hydra for 1. Tap out for 1. And then we'll have the Aria to get down. And we can slowly start working towards that. That way we've got a clock. So we're looking at white, green, and then red off the Mana Confluence. Get Aria down. And then we're going to go and pass the turn. So basically this, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1 counter on each creature you control if you control a creature of power 5 or greater, which we don't have right now, but we're slowly building towards it with the Primordial Hydra. Then, if you have 10 or more life, you gain 10 or life, you control 10 or greater. Then we win the game if we control a creature of power 20 or greater. So what we can do, since we get down Primordial Hydra, we're going to get that, let's see what this is. Destroy target enchantment. Okay, so they do have an answer for the Aria. I was about to say, we can get some counters going on the Hydra with the Forgotten Agent, kind of shifting them around. But our opponent did get down the Morph. So if they do get down a Morph creature, because that was off the reveal zone, then we'll kind of know what's going on once they get that down. All right. But actually, I may have missed the Thrasios reveal on that that last Hidden Dragon Slayer, so we don't know what that was. So if they're going to morph a creature down, more than likely it's going to be the Draw New Sanctifier, so we'll just kind of keep this up right there. Sorry for missing that earlier. But at least, you know, if they're going to spend their turn going for that, I'm okay with that. And then swing in right now, it's going to be 4, 6, 7. Puts us down to 13. We can still stabilize. We've got a lot more Hydras to get down. And then we double strike and then champion a Lamb Halt to go for. Opponent's going to get the Sword of the Animus going. And right now we just got a little baby Hydra. Don't even know a word yet. It's just got one little head on it. And it'll have 2 heads next turn. We get that going. Ah, yes. Main thing is we'll get down Forgotten Ancient, especially if our opponent's going to be casting a lot of morph stuff. I guess technically with the morph, yeah, it still casts as a count. It still casts as a cast card. So I didn't know if a morph creature counted as cast, so that was counting as that. All right, so we get that Primordial Hydra trigger, get 2+1 counters on it. I guess technically we could put one more on there for Marath, but we'll do that. I kind of want to do some little bit more stuff this turn. Drawn to a Johnny, Mentor of Heroes. Board state's a little cluttered for a Johnny at this point right now. I think at this point I like going for Forgotten Ancient. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be 4 mana. We could get into spots where we go for the T and Hydra. Yeah, let's go for Forgotten Ancient. That's going to get that down. It's going to be 1, 2. Tap the Ebony Township down. As far as, we do still have Hull Breach to go for, so we can actually get a +1 counter on the Forgotten Ancient. And that's going to be whenever this creature attacks. So we'll need to do that before the actual attack step. Okay, then we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn. So we have Hull Breach online to get an additional counter on Forgotten Ancient. And at the beginning of our upkeep, we can stack the triggers to where we put those counters on the Primordial Hydra instead. See what our opponent's going for. Tapping out some mana. Tapping out for 4 mana. Thrasios activation, okay. And then we'll get the reveal zone popped out just a little bit more so you can see what's going on. Shore Crasher Elemental. Mega Morph, return to its owners. Exile it, then return it to the battlefield, face down under its owner's control, gets +1/+0 until end of turn, Mega Morph. Okay. I love this. The art on this card reminds me of one of some like old school Magic cards. You would like buy like when I got into Magic, I bought a lot of cards off eBay. Like not a lot of them, like a collection. Like I bought 1,000 cards, and you start going, you know, they're all bulk rare, they're all bulk, not even rare, just bulk commons from way back in the day, nothing that has any use. But one of the fun things is going through those old Magic selections. Let's go and go for the Hull Breach before our opponent gets a sword trigger. Oh, excuse me, dang it. Sorry, I forgot Hull Breach is a sorcery, not an instant, so we should have gone for that during our main phase. We still have Marath to go for, though. Let me get an extra trigger on there. All right, opponent's going to be able to search a land up. Yeah, sometimes you get wrapped up in commentary. You kind of forget that. I know Hull Breach does artifact or enchantment, but I forgot that it's sorcery, not instant speed. Usually don't run a lot of removal in my deck, so sometimes I forget little lines of play like that. All right, opponent's going to be swinging. That's going to be 6, 8, and then 9 coming across. I feel like we might need to kind of chump block on this one a little bit. So we have a 0-3 right now, which we can still go ahead and block. That puts us in a morph range. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go for the... Get a 1-1 onto the battlefield. Yeah, I like that. Let's go ahead and remove... Put a green elemental. We're going to tap out for 1 off the Temple of Abandon. It's going to get Marath back to the command zone. That'll give us kind of a fresh set of counters on Marath. We'll get that elemental blocking on the hidden Dragon Slayer. And then we'll be able to hopefully kind of start chaining together a nice Primordial Hydra. All right, chump block on the lifelink. Yeah, I'm just not really sure what... I know what this one is going to be the Sanctifier, but I'm not really sure what that one is, so I'd hate to lose something off of that. So your opponent's going to go for off the flip. Master of Pearls. Turn faced up, creatures you control. Okay, so that's going to be 8. That's going to be 11 coming across. I'm just laughing thinking about the Master of Pearls just like jumping out of the bushes and throwing pearls at like at the Hydras. The Primordial Hydra's like, what is going on? What's happening? All right, so we made... Whew, okay, anyway, sorry. All right, just all the different Hydras, their heads just closing their eyes like, man, what? It's like, it reminds me of, that's what it is. It reminds me of Pocket Sand from King of the Hill. So we got Pocket Sand off the Master of Pearls. All right, so let's go and do this. There's no spells cast last turn. We're going to get the Ancient going, get the Aria down, Primordial Hydra. We're going to double the number of counters on there, but we're down to 2 at this point right now. So we might have kind of dirtled a little bit too much. Do apologize on that one, but we got Pocket Sanded, so we'll probably still go and post this one up. We can still get down to Johnny. Look at the top 4 cards, reveal a creature card, but I'm not sure that exactly that's what we're going to tap out for. Symbol of the Legion, a little late to the party. So at this point, we have to stop 4 creatures. Can we get down 4 creatures? We can. We can get the Hydra down. We get the Protean Hydra down too. Let's go and do that. Let's go for the Hydra. We can still get a little bit of extra off the tap this Plains down, get down the Molten Hydra, get an additional counter on the Forgotten Ancient. If you don't know what Pocket Sand is, go to Google and type it in. Pocket Sand. It's good. And talking about King of the Hill, that's one of my favorite cartoons. I love King of the Hill. King of the Hill is actually based on kind of where I'm at. King of the Hill is based on Central Texas, and it's a very accurate rendition of what it's like in this area. So we have 4 creatures. Do you want to tap the Hydra out for 3? It's going to put us down to 1. Yeah, either way, if they've got some removal, they've got it. So we'll just go ahead and tap the Hydra down because they have a bunch of 2/2s over there. So X is going to be 2. And yeah, we'll go down to 1. Get down the Hydra. Get a +1 counter on the Forgotten Ancient. And yes, we're going to use that ability. Makes it a 2/5. And we have a 3/3 Hydra. Now, if damage will be dealt to, we can at least kind of stop the Master of Pearls and different stuff like that. We're still going to go ahead and pass the turn. Our opponent still has the Sanctifier activation to go for the Hydra, to go for the Aria too. So at this point, we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn. We've got a board state developed to where hopefully we can kind of stop them from coming across. Opponent does have the 4/3 Hidden Dragon Slayer, which is going to be hard for us to kind of go for. It's going to, I mean, we can actually chump block it with the Forgotten Ancient, so we can stop that. We've got the Hydra on the 1/3. We've got the only thing that we're really going to lose is Master of the Veil. And turned up, you may return. Okay, so we got Master of the Veil. So we're actually okay. We're going to lose the Hydra, but at least we're going to untap with a bunch of stuff. And then we can shift some of those counters onto the Hydra and then still get an additional. We might be able to stack it to where we gain 10 life because that's going to be double the number of counters on it. And then, oh, what just happened? Excuse me. When it's turned face up, you may return target creature with a morph ability. Oh, face down. Okay, so they're going to take care of the Hydra. Oh, bummer. Nice play by our opponent. Okay, I'm just going to allow them to swing in with lethal. I'm going to go and post this video up because that was really cool. You don't really get to see a lot of morph-style decks, and our opponent has a really cool morph deck. So shout out to them. And we got to talk about Pocket Sand, which is always good. But anyway, well, we'll finish King of the Hill talk. But yeah, either way we block. We get the Hydra. And then 5/4, swinging in for 1. I guess technically we didn't have to tap the Mana Confluence down if we were worried about that, but who's going to play around Master of the Veil? All right, swinging in, they're going to take care of it. But yeah, King of the Hill, it's one of my favorite cartoons, and it is based around Central Texas, which is where I live. And it's a pretty accurate rendition of what it's like. You know, it's not everybody's like the King of the Hill, but it's pretty much like, it's a really good character of what it is for like people to be in Central Texas, to where, you know, because people think Texas, they think ranchers, they think farmers, they think, oh, how many cows do you got, different stuff like that. But there's just huge sprawling areas in Texas where nobody has a ranch or a bunch of cattle and different stuff like that. And so it's still a pretty good representation of the country aspect to the people that are still living in the city. But anyway, good deck by our opponent. It's really cool seeing Morph kind of go off like that. And that Master of the Veil was a really good play on the Hidden Dragon Slayer. So shout out to our opponent. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.